somehow, I guess over the hour and a bit of casting we've done, my computer had registered 6,000 or 7,664 errors. I don't fucking know. So those have been fixed, hopefully, and should be smooth sailing going forward. But again, my apologies for that delay, because I have no clue what caused any of that.
Now we can shout out the resub and stuff.
Ah, yeah. Do you want to? I've still got to get the actual stream label set back up.
So we had someone donate Emergentium. Donated $10.67. Loving the Rifkin and Zombergub. Keep it up. Thank you, Ting, for the tournament. Greetings from Utrecht, Netherlands. Sure, that was close, I'm sure. Ready to go?
Yeah, whatever they are.
Let's see here. Rebel Dragon, resub for 7 months. And then Jugu Jugu 1, resub for 14 months. I love you guys.
I always imagine when I read Jugu Jugu 1's name, it's kind of like you're doing the shaking your hips and arms going up and down. Jugu 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 Jugu.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a great name. That's what I'm saying. Anyways, looks like we're ready to go. We're on Proxima Station. This map is not a good map.
No, I think it's fine.
Really? Okay, well, I'm just saying at a glance. We'll go into this more detailed in a moment, because, of course, I still haven't seen a lot of these other than just watching other streamers play them. So, first-hand experience spawning here at the bottom left is going to be the green Terran player, Lillekanin.
In the top right is the red Zerg. He is Nerchio.
Now, I haven't experienced this issue, but I saw people tweeting about it yesterday. I guess VSync is like a quick fix for that black screen, but apparently it's really annoying for a lot of people. Luckily, you have Drone's Auto Mine now, right? Hey.
Hey, yeah. Otherwise, you'd be screwed. You wouldn't have done your split. Damn. Terrible.
All right, well, yeah, as Lillekanin's pointing out, the VSync thing is apparently a temporary fix. Blizzard's aware of the issue, and they've said they're going to try to fix it, etc. But, yeah, quick look at the map. So you've got your main, really big, spacious area. Your natural's a bit, I guess, pocketed in the back with a possible back door. Eventually open up later, but you gotta go really far around to make that happen. That's where I want to see some, like, goodie-style tank proxies, right? But, Nerchio takes the base out here, which I guess is also a kind of safe natural. It's actually interesting. The second and the third are protected in to an extent.
Right, to an extent. So it's a fairly large map because you do not go like point to point directly, natural to natural, or main to main, I guess in this case. There's rocks blocking certain paths as well, so you have to go right through that middle, and it is probably worth breaking down some of the rocks for each races at different points in time. They're not useless, but you do have a pocket expansion and very little room for Reaper jump ups, so it's going to be a little difficult to get scouting.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about tanks and proxies, but Lillekanin brings up a great point. This is a map where you could probably do some gross backdoor hatchery action.
Maybe. I mean, guess. It's not so good. Well, does he mean like send a drone into the hatchery in the, like put a hatchery in your natural, or like put the hatchery up next to the ramp?
I think he means back here.
Right.
And
okay.
the reason I think that would work is this works for Zerg to take out here, but Protoss and Terran can't really wall that off so easy. So I think it's still instinctively going to be you taking this base.
I do believe so. I think for Protoss it's actually going to be yeah, that could be terrible. But for Terran, we just lift off the natural, go to this natural, and wall off our main, and like try and build tanks as quickly as possible.
It's certainly a possibility. My thoughts are though that if what was the name of it? Vonne Research Station, you could be broken with proxy hatcheries on the skinny ramp. You probably could on this one too.
We didn't see any proxy hatcheries with Terran on Vonne.
Well, I'm thinking more of just Protoss in this instance, but
yeah.
The point is that I can certainly see somebody like Bly. He's probably going to be reaching over there and putting down all over the place.
Sure. There's also the ramp going into this natural too, so I don't really know how often those rocks will be broken down. I mean, it's almost always going to be useful for a couple of things to go back there and just hope the Terran or Protoss doesn't see. But it's a very long way to go. So.
Well. We do need to talk a little bit about the players in terms of like what the measurements here are. And Nerchio, I think, is going to take this series 2-0. I just don't think he's the type of guy to fall to Lillekanin's shenanigans.
No. We certainly won't be seeing the same mistakes that Tamika's did, which is like, there's a lot of micro mistakes on both sides, but I would also say Tamika's kind of overplayed to Lillekanin. Like it looked like he was overly defensive in the first game, then he kind of went for an all-in, but it felt very late and not very smooth. I don't think Nerchio had the same problem. And the second game, what was the second game? There's Belshear, and there's Underground, that's right. Well, it's Underground, I guess. So I don't think this is as a confusing map as Undergrounds. Because, yeah, you might be able to decide, like, really quickly what you want to do on a map, and it's not such a big deal if you're not, used to the map or not. But sometimes it is. Like, it really throws you off as you're like, wait a second, where do I put my third base? Or where do I put my fourth base?
Well, Nerchio's already putting down Spore Crawlers. I think he knew about what's possibly on the way, and Spore Crawler plus Queen plus Lair. He's on a good way to deal with the openings that Lillekanin's shown. In fact, he already moves the Spore Crawler around, so this really shouldn't get too out of hand. Queen's going to take a shot. Backs away.
Yep. Easy peasy. Nerchio is going to go Lair now,
Whoa.
defending against the Hellions. Okay.
Nice little run in. Doesn't cost him much for it. Not yet, at least. The Link's get this round, and this might end up being costly. Yeah, he's going to clean this up. Nice defense out of Nerchio.
And Lillekanin's already on his way to a third base, so his economy is what it's supposed to be. Proxima Station is probably going to be that macro map. Because it's, until the fourth base is actually kind of difficult to get. I will give it that. It's really a three base and not much more. It's not Dusk Towers, but 3 bases certainly are easy to grab. And I suppose that fourth base could still work out well if you break down the rocks. We haven't actually seen too many games on this map, so I'm not sure where people will be expanding.
Nerchio having some troubles. Spore Crawler wasn't quite in position for this, so he's building more all over the place. I like that he is overbuilding spores in this one instance because of just how Liberator heavy Lillekanin showed that he's willing to play. So removes any question of complacency. And of course, this one's going to be a little bit nasty because he just pulled the spore from the main to move over this way. Now he doesn't have one in the main just yet. It's only finished up.
Oh, how?
Oh, this Liberator Blitz out of Lillekanin's proven to be kind of effective. Nerchio, I would say he's a guy that doesn't easily tilt, but when he does, it's fairly evident. And I wouldn't say he's tilting just yet, but these are the types of moves you'd make to make somebody like Nerchio go on tilt. Like, Liberators are pretty cool units, right up there with Carriers, am I right?
Yeah. Well, the mobility, Lillekanin's micro on them has been pretty good. But there we go, finally grabs it. Taking care of the Hellions in the front, too. 12 drones go down, which puts him at 19 total. But at the cost of every single unit he's thrown at him, like, nothing has survived, so it's okay.
It's been costly for Lillekanin to get this damage, and I don't think the damage he's done has been enough, because the concern isn't that you're losing a bunch of Hellions, but more that the money you're spent replacing the Hellions is money not going to something like a Thor or additional Liberators. In fact, he's going the 3 starport build that he did in Game 1, and he's going very quickly to these armories. Oh, even the Fusion Core coming down real quick.
Alright, well, he did get a very good economy very quickly. Letting a run by is still not too difficult to deal with. He is building Hellions continuously, so it's not like losing him. Losing those Hellions earlier has really cost him a lot, and Nerchio will have to deal with Lillekanin's Skymech on 3 bases. There's
a really important change to this matchup through the patch that I don't know how much Lillekanin has or hasn't had to deal with, but it's certainly going to be bringing battlecruisers back to the players who have been using them. Because in the past, there was an issue where if you're like, let's say you target an infestor with Yamato Cannon, it should be a guaranteed kill on it. But for some reason, Neural Parasite would interrupt it. So it would never finish the cast. They would use your cooldowns for you, and then your battlecruiser would be a waste of 400 mineral synergy gas. It just wasn't worth going for. But looks like it is primarily Liberators for the time being, so we'll hold the battlecruiser talk for too long. But the change was that Neural Parasite no longer interrupts Yamato Cannon, which is a pretty big deal.
I'd say we don't see enough mech games.
No,
effective battlecruiser games.
It's certainly, you'd have to be watching either Nathaniel stream it or my shitty diamond level games. Like, battlecruisers are certainly a rarity, but Lillekanin is also a player who has used them in the past. Nerchio, by the way, going quicker to Corruptors. I really enjoy this choice. We talked about this a little bit in Game 1 for Lillekanin and Tamikis, how that high base armor is going to be able to soak hits from Liberators and just deal with them a little bit more effectively. The Spore Crawlers are doing a great job in the way they're positioned, but once Liberator range finishes up, then that opens some more opportunities. So Spore Crawlers alone won't cut it, and those Corruptors become necessary.
And Nerchio's at 75 drones. He slapped down every single tech structure possible, as well as continued upgrades. I mean, he's looking to play to kind of the mid game. I doubt he's going to go super late game because there's always a potential, whether it's with Protoss Air or mech players, that if you do wait too long, they will get too good of an army.
I like
But
the backdrop to this map, by the way. The fact that there's like a planet really does actually make this feel like a space station.
I saw that. I think it actually looks really cool. But these helmets gonna get cleaned up, not such a big deal. Thank you to Cur Daddy for the Twitch Prime resub.
Or maybe not. Hey Zombie, do you think these hellions in the corner of the map gonna...
Nope. Nope.
I was gonna say gonna die, but you said nope, so guess you're wrong. Feels bad. Should have let me finish.
No, well. My bad. So the Liberators are annoying, but there's Corruptors. Let's gotta get over here. And it's really not too bad, as Nerchio is on other mining bases. So we did expand off to the right, which I think is gonna be the usual moves. Like expanding away from your opponent is the Zerg baseline suggestion. There's some reasons to go towards your opponent, but more likely it's away. Like if he had taken the middle of the map, his creep strike probably would be a little bit better, but that's like the only thing. And Lillekanin takes his base off to the left.
Man, I will say, again, I don't know how much the tilt factor is or isn't coming into play, but Nerchio is really losing a lot of units to Lillekanin's Liberators here. I mean, a couple drones is whatever, because he did have so many, but even walking like 2 full energy queens to the Liberators while he was trying to dance around with things up here. As you can see, range is a huge issue now. He's just bleeding out army.
Oh my god.
I'm telling
this is
you.
actually so effective.
It really shouldn't be, because I do want to point out there was no changes to Liberators other than simply the map layouts being what they are now. Like, these didn't get buffed just yet. They haven't been nerfed just yet. Like,
right. I mean, I would say that this position in the back was definitely abusive. You could go to main and natural, and they can't reach with the super crawler. That's pretty bad.
This run by.
Everything else isn't so bad. Handling run-bys are usual. You should be able to defend against them. The other Liberator spots should not have done as much damage as they did, but Nerchio is not down and out yet, despite losing 46 drones.
Yeah, a lot of workers have died, but you look at the resources lost, and what's kind of scary is Lillekanin has lost a lot of his army to trade off for that economy. So as his Liberators are spread across the map and things aren't exactly consolidated, no missile turrets placed down, I actually don't know that he can hold up against the Corruptors, much less the actual army. So falling back to these positions, these walls of missile turrets that are going to go on the ground look silly, but they're actually incredibly necessary because he has no means to really fight the Corruptors, not too efficiently at least.
That's a pretty effective army by Nerchio for sure. Lillekanin expanded off to the left, but is also expanding to the middle. I guess the left is still covered by rock, so it makes sense to expand over there. But I could also see Terran players in particular taking the gold base and risking it once they've broken down these rocks, which Lillekanin didn't do.
So I just want to point out the small move Nerchio made there. It was a small split, but as you guys saw, he instantly reduced the damage by like half because the Liberators weren't touching much. But if the units are clumped up, that's what that splash damage is really nice. We see the interaction most often, I'd say, with Banelings and Roaches, where, okay, the splash damage isn't super effective, but if you have enough of it, it still works.
Yeah.
Also, interesting.
Right there.
I really like that he went for the Carapace upgrade right away, so the Corruptors have base armor 3, but I'm surprised that he's actually prioritized weapon upgrades. I thought armor would have been the case for sure. But he'll catch the Liberators on the right side of the map.
Alright, so this is a bit of a problem. Lillekanin does not have a very good army. He has 12 Handlings and 8 Liberators. That's really it. And the Liberators can be spread over kind of a long path.
At the same time, though, these missile turret walls that are going up are going to create some interesting Sim City. So funneling in to focus down some of these units, like you're right. Like Nerchio's army is objectively better, but Lillekanin's kind of got these chokes and these mazes he's setting up. I don't know. It's an interesting defensive setup for sure. And he's going to be searching Yamato Cannon, by the way.
Yay! So Nerchio is going to invest a little bit more into Spire. He's going to go for double upgrades. I don't think he lost the Hydralisk Sense. That's just a mistake. I'm not sure what that is for. What that was supposed to be.
Yeah. Especially, wait, because... No, it's right. It's not the same base, but it's close enough. I don't know.
Well, anyway, whatever the reason that is for, we also have Raven upgrades on the way. So Lillekanin really is getting to late game mech, and Nerchio, the first rule is like don't let him get to a third base. Well, that's kind of impossible on Proxima. The second rule is like don't let him get to a fourth, and that also something that Nerchio was unable to deny. It's quickly been running for a while.
Yeah, double Raven upgrades are very expensive, very costly, but for those who don't know what this does, Corporate Reactor gives Ravens more energy to start with, but the recalibrated explosives It's not about the extra damage they give the Seeker missiles, but the extended range. It's like 30% further you have to run away before they lose their target and just kind of fizzle on the ground.
Mm-hmm. And this is the type of position that even like a better player in Nerchio will just could potentially lose to the perfect endgame army that can happen with Mech and Sky Mech in particular. I mean, he loses against, for those players who go Carrier Storm, it's almost the same thing. Actually, the Carrier Storm is better, but whatever.
So my concern right now actually is that I really think Lillekanin did a great job with his consistent harass. Knocking down a lot of workers, forcing Nerchio to make a lot of workers, but since he stopped losing workers, Nerchio's been able to expand a lot more freely. His army supply has just continued to grow, and there's just been nothing keeping that back. I'm a little bit worried because Lillekanin turtling up may be the worst thing he could have done. I don't know. Those Ravens do have those upgrades. Maybe they're thinking about holding the energy a little bit longer, but they can launch 2 Seeker missiles. Or 1 Seeker missile, excuse me.
I like the Nidus Worm a lot. I think there's a lot of space that you can get around to like even the very back, right? There's a missile turret line near the rocks for Lillekanin, but there's still space to the left side of his fourth that he could get to the natural mineral line, which I don't think he's really thinking about right now. To the left of this space, yeah. Like, Nerchio could get something back there, and
well,
it could be a lot of these rooms.
I think at this point, he might actually just be able to walk a changeling into the base more than anything else, because Lillekanin's got his army spread really thin, and he's definitely not going to be looking in every location, but I just want to point out the multiple sensor towers is weird to see. It's making me look at the map.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake.
Well, yeah, but I look at the map and I feel like it's blurry, like I'm out of focus with my eyes or something. But again, Duck's going to come down. Blinding clouds to stop the missile turrets. That's kind of cool to see, but this is still going to be enough to push those back. And Raven's building up behind this. A couple of battle cruisers for Yamato cannons. Those are guaranteed kills for certain. So you target the Viper, you target the Corruptor. Yamato's going to take care of it. 300 damage. Not too bad. Cloak, actually, I didn't expect to see at all. This is like, I feel like he's just shotgunning everything now to be prepared for it.
Well, I think if he got, Banshee speed, right? Yeah.
If he got Hyperflight Rotors, I'd like that a lot. I also like that he's getting high-sec auto-tracking. The extra range for the planetary fortresses is kind of like, who cares? But with how much he's invested in missile turrets, it makes each missile turret like 1 range more effective.
Yeah, very useful upgrade to have in most endgame scenarios, but I'm a little worried for Nerchio. I mean, this is kind of that point where Zergs start feeling like they're just hitting a brick wall and they really can't do very much. And if Lillekanin can get a 5th, then I'm really worried. But right now he is stuck, capped on 4, and that means he won't really be able to, I think, perfect his army, or of course have a second army if things go really badly.
I mean, the thing is, though, you gotta consider what Lillekanin has done has made an army that is not going to be easy to break. Battle cruisers don't care if you abduct them a lot of the time because they're high armor. He's a little bit behind on those upgrades, so asterisk on that, because they can also teleport away. But also, more importantly, there's so many Ravens out, so forget the Seeker missiles. As hype as it is to watch a crazy explosion go off, there's going to be a lot of point defense drones potentially here as well. But blinding clouds come in, and we're going to see what the objectives here are. Seeker missile does target, but what? Oh, the Corruptors.
Corruptor. Ooh,
that's a great hit, actually.
The one was an overseer accidentally.
Double. Panic. I thought for sure, like, though, we see point defense drones down. He could have easily saved those, I feel. He had 4 Ravens worth of energy, but I guess the damage for him was worth it. The trade, if he could have gotten more, but let's not forget, this army out of Nerchio, while tattered and bruised, is still really large. Fight comes in. There's those point defense drones. Gives those Liberators time to set up. Of course, Yamato's firing and the teleport just to get away. I mean, it's instant. You're invulnerable while you're doing it. It's a nice escape mechanism for Terran.
Yeah, and he's pushing to take a 5th. This is not to end the game. The 5th is actually important.
It's actually, so I love that Nerchio has set up this offensive Spore Crawler line, but I just realized Lillekanin doesn't actually have any siege tanks or anything, so he doesn't have a great way to push this back.
I would maybe like some type of ground help, whether it's Thors or siege tanks. But he's not thinking about it.
Thors would be too expensive considering the threat of abducts, but I think a couple of siege tanks, when there's no broodlords in play, are excellent at pushing back these Spore Crawler lines. But the second a couple of broodlords come out, suddenly your tanks are just like a no-go.
Yeah.
It's neat, though, because Nerchio's still expanding. He's got a lot of control of the map. He's got a massive bank. So on one side, we're talking about Lillekanin's got this hard-to-break army. But so does Nerchio. But the difference is Nerchio can rebuild that army if he needs to.
Right. Lillekanin's like taking as many losses as he did, just getting another base is, for Nerchio, hopefully a sign of things to continue. Like every single time he tries to expand, he loses 30-40 army supply. That's obviously going to be in his favor. I mean, if Lillekanin ever decided to get, if he got maxed out, if he did push into Nerchio's army for real and try to take an engagement, maybe things are a little bit different, but Lillekanin is having a lot of trouble getting maxed out. He was close to it when he pushed out. He's like 180 or something, and took a lot of losses.
He was at 180, then he did a 180 with his army supply.
No.
Someone in chat asking, does abduct cancel Yamato? And I believe it does. It should. It should be the only thing I think that interrupts it right now in the game. But again, abducting battlecruisers is kind of hard because they will teleport away most of the time. Lillekanin not paying attention though clearly with the army. Point defense is not going down reactively, and these abducts are just gobbling up the army. Yeah,
those are some really good abducts. Good split too on the one Seeker missile that managed to get out, and this is just not what you want with this army. I mean, you want Seeker missiles going down, point defense drones covering your army, Vikings taking out the Vipers. These Vipers are living way too long. They're been in like 5 battles by now. I don't think any of them get sniped.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, too, there's a lot of talk about how things like Ghosts and otherwise are really effective because you get that EMP down, but then they can re-eat. Like, the problem is, though, what we're seeing is these Vikings are getting, like, 1 shot off. The Liberator gets abducted. It gets 1 shot off. The Yamatos are a little bit late, and they're hitting Corruptors, not even the Vipers, and this Battlecruiser teleports on cooldown. So, unfortunately for Lillekanin, he's just... Every abduct is a guaranteed kill for Nerchio. The question is like whether he trades out effectively for it or not, because he's still bleeding out Hydras as he dives into these liberation zones, splash damage going down on top of units. But again, Nerchio's had the money to remake this. He's just exhausted his bank, though.
Lillekanin really should have taken this bottom right base a long time ago. Well, Nerchio's still not thinking of looking. Oh, well, now he thinks of it.
Yeah, I mean, even if just lifting the main over or something, that's what he's going to do now. Concern, though, for Lillekanin. +3 armor still miles off. Looks like this place is still defended. I love that he left Liberators up here, actually. That would have been a lot of dead missile turrets. But yeah, the concern is every time those Vipers come in, if they're not getting Yamato down, the Vikings aren't numerous enough to one-shot them. The Liberators are certainly not numerous enough to do splash damage. I mean, this is problems. This is big problems.
Nerchio slowly picking away at this army, and I don't think it ever really got to that perfect point or to that maxed out point.
Well, as he starts falling back towards the planetary fortress, see, the Hydras are going to be in a little bit more trouble. Over-abducting is actually a big problem we've seen before, too. Like, you abduct too much so the damage splits amongst the units, not focus firing them down. But Lillekanin falling back. He's got to repair those battlecruisers. They're too expensive to lose. But Nerchio's throwing away so much army for this.
He did just lose a couple of his Vipers, which he's been avoiding up until now, but there's still 4 of them left over, and they're just regaining energy.
I guess he did just make 21 new Hydralisks, so maybe losing them is not as scary. But Lillekanin's army supply down to 60. It is a slow bleed out, and Abduct is just too good. It really is too good at this point.
Yeah, seems like it. This actually could be the final engagement. There's just not a lot of units left over.
No. Fortunately not. Battlecruiser is going to try and abduct or teleport away. More abducts just waiting to happen, but the planetary will hold not too badly. Let's not forget he upgraded it, so he's got high Zakato tracking. No building armor, which kind of sucks, but he can shoot those Hydras from far away.
Okay, Nerchio's going to play pretty safe here. I think he could brute force his way in, but there's
he could kill this base too. He knows about it now with the Overlord.
That's true. there's other options for Nerchio.
I will say, though, I'm impressed that Lillekanin got this far. And it's not that he played mech, good or bad, but his early game harass. There's Liberators dancing all over the map. I mean, there were so many ways he did great damage to Nerchio early on, but whether it was Nerchio's good defense or maybe the complacency of Lillekanin, the second he went and started playing turtly against Nerchio is, I think, when he lost control of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I agree. There's always that chance that his harassment would fall off and he would just have even less army to defend his 4 bases, but you know, we didn't see any Banshee harass. Like, there was really 0 harassment after like 14 minutes or something like that. And that is, I think, a problem. A couple of Banshees, a couple more Liberators running around, Hellions, but he just never could get away.
These Vipers getting quite low.
Yeah. That doesn't matter.
All right, Nerchio gonna take game number 1.
There's some long games.
For certain, but I also, like, again, I'm kind of okay with the way Lillekanin played that. I thought he would get raffle stomped, if we're going to be honest. It's Nerchio, for goodness sake. However, he put up a pretty good fight. He really did.
Well, the next map's going to be Cactus Valley, which certainly Lillekanin had a very good game, but it also was helped by the easy third. Cactus is the opposite.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really sad because we're going to find a new song for Cactus Valley. We're going to be leaving our YouTube network soon because, frankly, they suck and tricked us 3 years ago. But they're also the ones who gave us rights for the music. So we're going to have to find a new song for Cactus Valley. Feels sad, man.
Oh, womp womp.
So that being said, yeah, loading into the game right now. Thank you guys again for watching. Please check out our sponsors over on bttv.ting.com. Without them, we wouldn't have this awesome tournament. And of course, I should probably check and poke. I'm really not loving that the time frame for this got pushed back so much, but I really want to announce where the finals are going to be.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah. Nerchio needs a minute.
All right, hello. Any updates?
So we can do shoutouts that we missed during that game. Hold on here. Hold on. All right, so we got a couple of bits. Elliot Jackson, I don't know, Kev. Fear Dragon, 3 sub for 36 months. I love the background on this map. We talked about that.
Yeah, it's a really nice looking like planet in the background.
Ian Chan, 2000, resub for 26 months. Why Twitch classified you offline when you are live? Probably the... we had to take down the stream for a second, so it probably bugged it out. Sloza, 12,000, resub for 24 months. I love you, man and woman. And Ralik Sarik is a new sub. Thank you very much.
Yay. Of course, quick reminder, too, for those who aren't paying attention to the brackets of this, the winner goes on to fight against Snoot afterwards, so that will then lead into those grand finals for the winner's bracket. Braddock and DNS playing elsewhere right now. DNS actually 2-1 Koss, which is really impressive to me, because DNS, I believe, is Protoss, right?
Yes.
But it looks like we're ready to go, so let's hop into the game. Again, just to talk a little bit about Ting and who they are. We got some videos we can play. We'll do those a little bit later because I didn't download them because I'm terrible. But for those who don't know about Ting, it is a United States only phone service. They offer really cheap, really competitive rates. And the best part is you don't lock yourself into the... there's no year-long contract or plan. You pay month by month. And I really love that option. I think it's so cool.
It certainly is. I use them, and it's been very easy. But Reddit had a thread yesterday, which I'm not sure you would have seen, being, you know, hustle and bustle about the apartments. But it was like blank, blank, and Ting are like combining forces to overthrow. I forget what actually the word was. It was a pretty complicated title. All right, give me a break. But the point is, it was like Netflix, Ting, and something else. That's what it was, and how all these are like making sure you don't have to put in contracts, and that it's really easy to change over if you want to. So I thought it was actually really cool seeing Ting on the front page of Reddit. But
yeah, there's definitely a lot more to talk about that. But let's get these intros out of the way. Bottom left side, he's not staying at home. It's Proxy's in the middle of the map. It's the Lillekanin.
In the top right is the red Zerg. He is Nerchio.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, like, what makes Ting super special, and like if you're just like a BaseTradeTV fan, diehard, like, they treat us really well. And I'm not saying like the sponsors are sitting there buying us fucking limos and caviar or anything, but they treat us a lot better than most other people we've worked with. So I've really, really appreciated our time spent with Ting, and I think they've appreciated us too, because they've told us several times about how they really love that StarCraft took off so well, and that they've been able to invest in it. They've got a whole esports division because of basically Ting Season 1, guys. We did it. But anyways, 3 Rex Reaper is a little bit interesting on this map. As you can see, tight choke will protect Lillekanin's natural if he wants to expand off of this, while still providing that Reaper production. But oh my god, we haven't seen like a 5 Rex Reaper, much as a 4 Rex Reaper, in God knows how long.
Well, the last time we saw it was by Lillekanin, so I'm not too shocked. And
you know, I'm sad he doesn't play so much anymore, but Igas was really the guy who I always think back to as like the Reaper trendsetter.
The Reaper trendsetter?
Like, just all the way back to the beta, his goal was to like get Blizzard to nerf Reapers by like abusing them so hardcore and all this stuff. But anyways, yeah, so this is going to be a lot of Reapers coming out, an abnormally large amount. Maybe Nerchio will struggle with this? Maybe.
Sorry. Maybe. Like, Cactus Valley actually used to be a map where you could also proxy in the middle regular Marines. I actually liked that so much. It was like Frost, in fact. But Reapers, of course, the new hot thing, and Cactus Valley, one of the reasons that it was somewhat popular for proxying, besides the just absurdity of it, the surprise factor, was that you could also get a wall off. The wall is very, very tiny on Cactus Valley. But not enough SCVs to really do that. So it's just the potential of a bunker. He even has two SCVs. I don't know why he stopped building the bunker.
I'm just a little bit concerned that the queens are so close, too close for comfort.
As the extra
Reapers come in. Well, so here's the thing, right? The extra Reapers come in, now they got the damage to easily just auto-attack those queens down. Of course, the grenades, too. The bunker does complete... I don't know how much this is important or not. Like, the bunker, to me, is not the most appealing part of any Reaper attack. It's always just kind of like a fallback point, and rarely is it a fallback point that makes or breaks the game. It's the production of these Reapers that has me certainly astonished, to say the least.
Here's definitely the downside about doing Reapers on Cactus Valley, by the way. There's not a ramp to the natural, which is like an upside.
Well,
you don't have to worry about high ground vision.
Up to the main, out of range of the spines.
You can, but it's a little bit far away, and it's easy to scout as Nerchio. So it's not the most abusable Reaper map. So it's, you know, it's a point against it, as well as the fact that it is 4-player. You're rallying from quite a bit distance.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nice part, though. Half of his production is in the middle of the map, so he's not rallying from that far away. Okay, once again... His people need him. He's going to space.
I'm not getting these anymore. God.
2 pits to Chesty.
Just the crazy Reapers. Well, the Roachborn is finally on the way. That's certainly something that Nerchio was missing. But the Spine Crawlers ended up being just enough when usually they're not.
I'm actually, yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised because usually these are quite bad. The SCV even flipping out there. What's going on with that corpse? It's doing like a crab walk. Anyways, yeah, the Spine Crawlers are usually not that great. In fact, I rarely see them be effective versus Reapers at all, so I'm really impressed with this. But I'm also surprised that Lillekanin's putting this position as his focal point. I really think jumping up to the main through the natural would be the better option because it gives you control of that ramp, but he obliterates the Ling, so hold the phones over there. Queens start getting picked off. As long as he doesn't get too close to the spines. I mean, concern is, you know, roaches are on the way. Lillekanin has got an army that he won't be able to beat. And he never took a natural base with this going on.
Right, he has the option to, since he is technically has a wall up already. That was one great thing about barracks proxies, rushes rather, but tries to go up the ramp as soon as the roaches pop. I assume you're watching a Reaper.
Yeah. You know, they say those combat drugs get you high, but I had no idea just how high they meant. GG! Nerchio will take the series 2-0. Move on to the semifinals.
Oh, Lordy. Yeah, versus Snoot.
All right, well, as we can see, we got a spammer back in chat, guys. So we're putting the followers only mode on for a little bit longer. See if that helps weed out the dick bags. But yeah, we're going to go to that. DNS and Braddock do not have to wait for us, so they'll be playing that out. The only matches we're really concerned about are the qualifying ones. So ZvT coming up will play. The winner will play against either Braddock or DNS. Go to a 2-minute commercial break, and we'll see you guys soon.